I want to start out with a few things that I feel are important to understand and for us to be clear on. The purpose of the approach is to be able to tell a new prospective client what you do, how you do it, and why you do it. And it's also very important that that's full of DNA, which is different, it's new, and it's attractive. It needs to be clear, it needs to be concise, it needs to be compelling. Therefore, it sets the tone early on in the meeting. Is we want to build desire. We want this prospective client to shift their mindset from, man, why am I here? I really don't believe I should have made this appointment, or how long is this going to take, to shifting them to, wow, why did it take so long to meet this individual? The approach is the bridge from the prior mindset to the former one. And so therefore, that's what it's all about. So I feel that if you can see an example of that and you can understand the purpose of it, I feel you can begin to have much more impactful meetings with a prospective new client. So if you can imagine you're now the client and you're sitting across from me. So let's just also, before I start though, talk about a couple small details. I just came out to the lobby and greeted you. I had a smile on my face. My shoulders were back. My posture was good. My tone of my voice was strong. I had energy and I shook your hand. Now we walk back to my office and we engage in what I would say 2, no more than 3 minutes of small talk. Small talk is only the bridge to get from the initial greeting to the professional business dialogue. We want to keep that tight. It's important. Important for a number of reasons, but for now, what I want to share with you is it sends a message. The message to the client that you're successful, you're busy, and you don't have time for small talk. So if we start that meeting with you and say, Mrs. Prospect, I could talk about the Cubs all day long, but I know you're busy and I'm busy. Let me go ahead and get started with what we're here for today. First and foremost, I'm in the financial services business, and my goal with all my clients is to deliver long-term financial security. And in order to do that, I've developed a 3-step process to do so. In the first step, today, I'm going to go through what I like to call a fact-finding meeting, gathering data. But one of the things that I've learned, Mr. Prospect, is that this business is not a logical business at all. It's really an emotional business. So although it's essential that I collect a lot of data and gather a lot of facts so that I can understand the logical aspect of your financial situation, it's imperative for me to do my job well that I also understand your story. I understand what money means to you. I understand the trials and tribulations that you've had as it relates to planning and all the background behind it. So I'll ask you questions today that nobody's probably ever asked you, and all that information will stay confidential between the two of us. Then, at the end of the meeting today, one of 3 things is going to happen. Number 1 is both of us agree that it's probably not a good use of our time to get together again, and we chalk it up as an interesting meeting and building a new relationship. Number 2 is we figure out some things that have interest and desire, but we also figure out that now is not the best time to get together, and we agree to put it in a tickler file and get back together, let's say 6 months down the road. The third that can happen is we agree that there are some issues that we definitely want to look into, and the timing is good. And then we'll set up a date to go through the second meeting. And it's at that meeting, Mr. Prospect, where I'm going to come back and take you out of your busy merry-go-round of life. And I'm going to take you to 30,000 feet. And what I find all of my clients love about that meeting is for the first time, for many of them, they get the answer to the question, are we going to be okay? We will take a detailed look from 30,000 feet at your retirement, at your kids' education, at your life insurance needs, at your disability insurance needs, and everything that you share with me that's important today. And we're going to not only show you where you are, but we're going to show you where you're going, and we're going to show you where the potential downfalls are, and then we're going to talk about a game plan to really be able to start making progress so that ultimately we can get to your financial security. And then the third step. And the third step is probably one of my favorite steps because it helps me build a personal relationship with each and every one of my clients. What my clients love about that meeting is that every single one of my clients does an annual review. And in that annual review, we do a lot more than just give you an update on where all the assets are and where all the insurance programs are. They don't know, they know they don't need me. They can look on the internet to get that kind of data. However, what I think I bring to the table that makes it unique is that every single year we put together a financial planning checklist. And by looking at that checklist and measuring the growth of the decisions that we've made together over time, they see the light at the end of the tunnel burning brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And the benefit of that to them is it keeps them on track. It keeps them confident. They have hope that if they keep doing what it is that we're talking about, that they are going to get to that place of financial security. And therefore, the likelihood of success is so much higher. And I get an enormous amount of positive feedback from my clients from those annual reviews. So that's the process I use, Mr. Prospect. Does that process make sense to you? Now let's assume that they say yes and give me the positive affirmation. The next question I'm going to say is, it's really, really important for me, given the business that I'm in of financial security planning, that I understand what money means to you. So let me ask you my first question, and that is, go back to your earliest childhood memory. What did you learn about money from your mom and dad? And I listen. I listen because I ask that question, not just because it's a good question, but I really care about the answer. And so I might even ask a question to clarify it. And then the second question I'll say is, are mom and dad still living today? And if she says to me, yes, they are, I will ask, tell me about their financial situation today. And I'll listen to that. And then the next question will go in one of two directions. If she tells me that her parents are in very sound financial shape, I'll say, what did you learn from them? What did you observe as you were growing up and even today that you want to make sure that you duplicate into your planning? If they tell me that their mom and dad are not in very good financial situation, then I'll simply ask, and I'm sure you could guess this, hopefully by now, that what is it that you observed and what is it that you learned that you want to make sure that you avoid in your planning? And then last but not least, I would say, hypothetically, Mr. Prospect, if I was sitting here 30 years from today, asking your children the exact same questions, how would you want them to answer those questions? So there you have it. That's my approach. When you can get that down, you bring intentionality, you will create sustainability, and the results will be transformationally different than you've ever gotten before. Good luck.